Oh shit, here we go again.
Sup ma sons. How are you today? I hope you're in the mood for some good music, even if by that it means that you're even willing to dive in an ocean of excrement to find gold. Cause that's what I had to do to make this video. After all, this is the top 10 great songs in terrible albums, in this new episode of Watchjojo. Well, I don't have to explain the idea of the list, it's already in the title, I only have to reinforce that it's all a bang. Personal opinion. These are the songs from these albums that I felt like were much more superior than everything else the album it's in has to offer. So, with that, nothing else needs to be said, no more stretching and let's do it. Number 10. Climbing Up the Walls. Scream by Cornell. It hurts my soul to include one of my favorite musicians of all time in this list, but truth be told, Scream is genuinely a putrid album. This release is basically Cornell doing his best impression of Maroon 5, and doing it successfully. This is not a compliment, Maroon 5 is dreadful, we don't need that much poo-poo in the musical industry. Luckily, it's Cornell we're talking about, so even when the bass of this album is that heinous, Chris, being the legend he is, managed to score a few goodies in this trash fest. Climbing Up the Walls being the finest example of that, the song opens vividly, almost like the theme of a new day starting with optimism, the verses are fun, the pre-chorus is awesome and the chorus is solid. It may not be a song that makes you climb up the walls, but it's honestly fantastic compared to the rest of this album. Also Take Me Alive is another cut of the record that's worth listening. Number 9. Natural. Origins by Imagine Dragons. Hello guys, welcome to a new episode of Handy Tutorials with Marshall. In today's episode, I'm gonna teach you how to listen to Origins. Step 1. Listen to the first track. Step 2. Save it. Step 3. Burn the rest of the entire album, and make sure that it got totally ravaged. I legit don't know how the hell people are still listening to Imagine Dragons, they've already shown that they'll never be able to surpass Night Visions and the few good tracks from Smoke and Mirrors. So what the hell is the point of keep going? Oh right, they're still a band that can do something decent when they try. That's the case with Natural. The only track in the entire album that's worth your time. It still has that forced grandiousness of other Imagine Dragons songs, but it's much less degrading, considering it has good verses, and the chorus is honestly great. It's honestly par with the material of Night Visions, at least, the good side of Night Visions. I'm still a little bitter because of the production of this album, but well, at least we got one silver lining in this unleashed hell. Number 8. I Got a Feeling. The E.N.D. by the Black Eyed Peas. Different of many people, I actually like post-sellout Black Eyed Peas. Monkey Business has a lot of songs I jam to, but the same can't be said about the E.N.D. Dear God, this album is so aggravating. It almost feels intentional, like will.I.am and crew clearly made this BS to test our patience and decrease our sanity. The only track that offers us a breath of fresh air is the album's biggest single, I Got a Feeling. A genuinely good song in a genuinely terrible album. You may struggle to accept it, but let's be real, the beat of this song is amazing, and it actually does a great job at conveying the message that it tells in its lyrics. When this song shows up in the radio, you can already tell that tonight's gonna be a good night, that you're gonna have tons of fun and might even meet someone new. Who knows? Whatever might happen, it's gonna be fun times. It's actually sorta ironic to write this right now because this video is being released during the quarantine. Damn, I'm kinda sad now. Number 7. Gas Panic. Standing on the Shoulders of Giants by Oasis. Be Here Now is often the Oasis album people like the most to crucify, but guys, listen, Be Here Now is a masterpiece compared to this album with a long title that I don't like writing down. And it's shown right from the beginning. The opening song of the album is called F*** in the Bushes. Hot start, ain't it? And trust me, this atrocity of an album doesn't get much better. It almost sounds like songs released by an Oasis cover act. That's how bland it is. It has almost no soul in the music. Luckily, there's not one but two tracks that are surprisingly great. The second track, Go Let It Out, and the sixth track and my pick for the 9th spot, Gas Panic. The song begins building up tension in a rather interesting way. It has psychedelic flavors, but still being Britpop-ish. And when the tension releases, what happens after is one of the greatest songs Oasis has ever released. The instrumentals are incredible. The vocals are a little too processed but not bad. And to be honest, it's quite unique in comparison to anything else in the album. Therefore, it's a billion times better. Number 6. Someday Never Comes. Mardi Gras by Creedence Clearwater Revival. CCR's last album is certainly something. This album's problems came due to the fact that the other members of the band were trying to compose and write songs, something that has always been the responsibility of John Fogerty. The problem with that is that clearly the other two members weren't as quote-unquote skilled as Fogerty, resulting in this garbage album that pretty much killed the band's career. And the only tracks of the record that are quite good are the ones that, guess what, were written and composed by John Fogerty. And Someday Never Comes is the best of the three. In its verses, it's smooth and easygoing, and in its choruses, is fun and bright. Without mentioning it's my favorite CCR song lyric-wise. It's easily a track that wouldn't look out of place in any of the better records by the band such as Cosmo's Factory and Bayou Country. In fact, it's better than most of the cuts from these albums. So, needless to say more, this track is a S-tier Creedence song. Number 5. Subterfuge. Demolition by Judas Priest. This is a flaw that you can't really blame in Rob Halford. After all, this album came out during the brief time Tim Owens was the lead singer. And while that is the least bad of the albums that came during this hard period for the band, it's still not a great album by any means. However, thankfully, the 10th track on that record is the main proof that the band could make something insane even with Owens in the vocals. That song is Subterfuge, a song that is surprisingly anything but Judas Priest. It feels more like some sort of hybrid between Metallica and Rammstein, but to be honest, I'm not complaining about that if the song is great. And it is. It's freaking amazing. Easily the best cut of the Ripper era. The riff is gargantuan, the chorus is memorable, and it's a song that I can imagine the crowd going wild in concerts. I'd love to see it being performed by Halford to see how it would sound. Even though I really doubt this is going to happen. But well, I can dream, right? Number 4. I Apologize. Got your 6x5 Finger Death Punch. My god, 5-Finger Death Punch. Just by saying that name I already feel brokenhearted. 'Cause to me this band is the definition of wasted potential. E.N.D is a great singer, and all the members of the band know how to make some amazing music, as proven by their early albums, but it seems as like everything that came after Wrong Side of Heaven seems to be this really dreadful, obnoxious noise being camouflaged as music. While Injustice for None is undoubtedly 1,000 times worse, Got Your Six is still a heinous album that has no life whatsoever. It's just a bunch of weirdos screaming edgy stuff. It's impossible to take it seriously. And if you want to get something good of this album, you'll have to get the deluxe edition of it. Because that's where the only good track of the LP lays. I Apologize. A song that if I was clueless and someone told me it was like a hidden cut from American Capitalist, I'd believe. Yes, the band never really had a reputation for being amazing artists, but when they try, a lot of good stuff can come out. And this proof. The best song of the worst period of the band. Number 3. Build a Bridge. Results may vary by Limp Bizkit. Well, it's needless to say anything about this album, much less this band. If you are watching this video, you already know how terrible Fred Durst and company are when it comes to their discography. Their second and third albums are, well, listenable, but results may vary as legit a cringe festival. It's almost tragic, but there's at least a really small quantity of tracks that are okay, and one that is surprisingly awesome. This one is Build Abridged. A Limp Bizkit that, believe it or not, actually has some depth. The lyrics of this song are so not Limp Bizkit that it feels ghostwritten, and I honestly really believe that. And the instrumentals are also quite good. I may even dare to say this is the best song the band has ever released, even though this isn't something too hard to achieve. If the other songs of the band actually were similar to this one, I'd maybe respect them a little bit more. Number 2. Under Pressure. Hot Space by Queen. The only reason why this is not number 1 is cause this is easily the most predictable peak for this list, but I'll still give a base to this. Well, Hot Space is easily Queen's worst album, full of incredibly weak songs that are so bland and flavorless as eating a tortilla by itself. And after that weird-ass album, that honestly feels like a hassle to be completed, we meet with the album's final track, that is just one of the greatest songs ever made. Under Pressure, with David Bowie. I don't really need to introduce this song to anybody, cause everyone knows how insane this song is. It's easily one of Queen's greatest accomplishments, and knowing that the band is of such a high profile, this means that this song is more than incredible, it's a masterpiece. Yet, it somehow still managed to land itself among the lousiest moment of Queen's discography. What a shame. Well, it's time to reveal the number 1 song, and this one I must say it really messed up with me. So I genuinely can say that this is more than deserved to take the gold. And you'll see it after the honorable mentions. Number 1. Million Miles an Hour. No Fixed Address by Nickelback. I know that this placing is probably giving the idea that I hate Nickelback, which is not true. Sure, they might be corny as hell, and some of their lyrics are of questionable nature. But I actually really like a considerable amount of their material, even from their most hated albums. But No Fixed Address? Well, to me, that album can rot in hell. It's genuinely one of the worst albums I've ever heard in my entire life. It was released during a time that I refused to believe it happened. My Nickelback fan days. I was hella eager for this album, and when it dropped, almost all the feelings I had for the band vanished. That album is heinous, it's cursed, outrageous, makes me sick. When it's not being completely boring, it's being completely stupid and aggravating. And it pranks you good into believing it's gonna be a good album in the start. How? Simple, by putting this incredible song to open the album. A Million Miles an Hour. While Edge of a Revolution is also a lifesaver here. The true star of this album is right in the beginning. It has one killer riff, the vocal effects in the verses are quite interesting, and the chorus is easily one of the best the band has ever done. Not that this is too hard to accomplish, but for real, it's legitimately a chorus that makes you feel like going wild. It's easily in the top 10, maybe top 5 songs Nickelback has ever released. And it's even hard to believe that it comes from such a cursed record such as No Fixed Address. I legit got mad after talking about this horrendous album. At least it's over now. What do you guys think about this video? What songs you would have included? Please, share your view in the comments, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to show to me that the suffering of listening to all these awful albums was worth of something. That's it from me now. My name is Marshall and see you next time.